In 2022, we purchased our first townhome, and it's 2025 and our home has not gained any equity. Nothing. Nothing at all. I could go into this. I'm still so mad at myself about this. I actually got my real estate license and I was going to be a realtor. Anyways, I was the one that was the realtor for our purchase. My broker was not helpful at all. Not at all. I made such a big financial mistake. I mean, clearly, right? We have no equity in our home. We overpaid completely. Broker didn't care. She got a nice cut off of our sale. So many things went wrong, like so many things. I still can't get over it. I'm talking about it. It's 2025. I'm still not over it. I could do a whole series of like this, but it's insane. Anyone have any advice on how to get over these things? Because don't know how to forgive myself for this financial mistake.
Today, we're talking about home buyers' regrets. There's a lot of videos popping back up online where folks are really regretting a decision that they made 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago when they purchased their first home, so that we can learn from their mistakes, because that's the best way to learn, right? Vicariously, if at all possible. Before we do that, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert, and on this channel, my goal is to simplify the home loan process. I am also a lender. If you like to work with me, the first step is a conversation via consultation. First 15 minutes is free. It's on me. My contact information is either in the top pinned comment or in the description below. Now, first thing we got to do is take accountability. She's a realtor. She's saying the broker got paid. She's saying the broker didn't really tell her much. And in a lot of cases with a lot of new realtors, that could be the case. But you got paid too. You were in it as well. So at some point in time, we as consumers, we can't always play the victim role. We have to acknowledge where we may have messed up. Lots of times in situations like this, in purchase situations, especially if it's your first time, you don't really hear some of the things that people are saying to you. I can only speak for myself. I know for a fact I go very deep ad nauseum. If you watch any of my videos, you probably can tell what type of person I am. And I'm really wanting to look under every rock possible, dot every I, cross every T. And what I've done in my practice is I document everything, because again, when you're going through this process, you assume the best in every situation. And when you're doing that, because it's what you want, you can't hear what the gotchas may have been. One other thing that she mentioned kind of quickly is the home type. Condos and townhomes aren't necessarily where it's at. Those are very specific purchases for very specific times in life. And more times than not, when you hear folks losing a lot of money, it's because of a townhome and or a condo. You always want to buy what the masses are going to be looking for. And more times than not, it's single family, 3 beds, 2 baths. And I know that's specific to the part of the country that you're in, but you want to match the home type with the lifestyle in the area that you're living in. So that's a lesson that we want to learn from there. And then lastly, you know, if you messed up, you messed up. You have to move forward. You can't keep kicking yourself when that has happened. So after you've admitted, you want to quit it, if you will, fix the situation and move forward and prevent it from happening again. And then tell others that might be going along the same path. If they'll listen, share that information with them so that they won't make the same mistake. Let's get over to the next situation. Check it out.
People telling me owning a home is the best investment you could ever have. I do believe that to be true. That don't change the fact that I'm tired of being a homeowner. I'm tired of the problems that it come with. I'm tired of all the responsibility, hanging on my shoulders. I miss renting. I feel like I had more freedom with renting. Now, I know when you rent, you're paying month to month and all that money is going down the drain. It's not going towards nothing. It's not investing in nothing. I know that. And I don't care. I thought about it so much. Selling my house and going back to live with my mother. Because why not? I don't have kids. I don't have a man. I don't have any drama that I would bring my mama, and I can pay all her bills. Mind you, my mama still live in the projects and income-based housing. She doesn't pay rent anyway. We'll be over there living like kings and queens. Jesus Christ. I feel like the only thing that I would miss owning my home, or, you know, moving back with my mom or just whatever, is the privacy. I do not like people all the time. I do not like noise, you know. But when you move in with somebody or any sort of living adjustment, then you have to understand what that comes with. You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately, you didn't figure this out before you got into the home. So it is what it is. This is what I'll say to you. Now that you're in the home, you really want to think logically, as logical as possible, and maybe figure out ways to move mom into the home with you. This is why I say this. Depending on when you bought the home, you're probably not going to get the price that you have currently. And more times than not, if it was prior to 2019 and you owned a home, or if you bought a home in that window where rates were super, super low, probably not going to get that again. And so the reason you do not want to be there is because of the burden, if you will, if that, for lack of a better term, that it's all on you. So consider, before you just cash out or sell the place, consider bringing somebody on, because you may not get another opportunity to get onto the housing ladder. The deal is this: before you guys buy a home, wherever you're living, if it's a rent-free situation, you need to try your best to simulate what it would be like owning a home. Take on more responsibility, pay those bills, and do it this way. If you're blessed to be in a situation where you're not required to do those things, take the income that you have coming in, find out what the bills are, and you move that money to the side every month where you have no access to it. Maybe it goes in a savings account. But this is a way to simulate what it would be like to have the expenses that are associated with you carrying the load, with you being the homeowner. When things go awry in the home, you fix them. Simulate what it would be like to be a homeowner. If you don't have that opportunity, if you don't have a situation like I aforementioned, the OVA calculation, 0.14 cents, 0.14 times the square footage of a home that you're thinking that you want to go into. And you can recreate these things with a budget. There's so many things that you could do with a budget. You could gamify it, kind of like make it a video game. But now with all this information that we have online, you can find a house that you think you want to buy and do some research on what the average utility bills look like. If there's an HOA, all the costs that are associated with a home, and then you can set those aside from your budget and see if you like how that feels. See if you can still maintain your lifestyle, because that is what you need to do. Now that you're in the home, you don't want to make another rash, hasty decision. And she didn't say she was, but again, you might be in that situation. The last thing I want to give her some kudos for is she didn't demonize home ownership. She's just not ready for it, because it's not a bad investment like a lot of these folks want you to believe it is. And for most Americans, this is your way to get a piece of ownership, a piece of control, to get above just working and being on a subscription basis. So shout out to you, young lady. Maybe you have some suggestions or ideas for someone that's thinking about buying a home, how they can prepare to see if that's what they really want to do. So if that's you and you have some other suggestions, feel free, comment in the comment section below. I love hearing what you guys have to say, because you all have some great advice. As I always say, as the tide rises, all boats do. So now, this last video, this is someone that's going to speak in the same spirit that I come in. And sometimes it's good just to hear it from somebody else. Both of these situations, in my opinion, you're dealing with somebody that is house rich, cash poor. Okay, they really weren't prepared. So listen to this next lady eloquently explain being house poor and how we should not endeavor to be in that situation, and then how to mitigate it. Check it out.
When I said people are house poor, it wasn't me clowning homeowners. I was only trying to expose how the system is designed. Banks do not care about your lifestyle or what you can actually afford. They care about their interest payments. Here's an example. Banks only qualify you on your gross income, not your net income. That's the first scam. So let's say you make $6,000 a month before taxes. On paper, the bank will say, oh, you can afford a $2,000 monthly mortgage payment easy. But in real life, after taxes, health deductions, 401k, and any other bill or any other expense you can think of, you're probably only going to bring home maybe $4,200 or less. So explain this to me. How in the hell would somebody approve you for a home or money you don't even see? Why would they look at your gross income knowing that your net income is way less than what you have on paper? Because they don't care. They're not in the business of protecting you. They're in the business of protecting themselves. They're in the business of maximizing on the loan based on the interest, on how much you're paying over time. And this is why so many of y'all get stressed the moment y'all close on a home. You're smiling with keys in your hand and balloons on Instagram and TikTok and all these other places, but 2 months later you realize you can't travel, you can't really go nowhere, you can't afford to get your nails, your hair done, you can't afford to live another lifestyle because all your money is tied up into your home. You can't eat out, you can't save. You're literally one payment away from defaulting on your mortgage. And that's what house poor looks like. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people say I'm hating. No, I'm educating you all. Because nobody tells you, nobody breaks all this stuff down for you so you can see it from a different picture. You get that approval and now you're going to go hurry and look for a home because they say that's what you can afford on paper. The banks, no matter what, will still get theirs because the house is collateral. If you can't pay, all they're going to do is foreclose on the home and resell it. They don't lose, you lose. And that's the game that people don't want to hear. This was never about if home ownership was good or bad. This is about buying smart. Just because the banks say you can afford it doesn't mean you have to listen to them.
And the church said, amen. I told you, I don't need to add nothing to it. Eloquently said, and thank you for breaking it down. This is what I will add. Caveat emptor. Buyer beware. You have to be aware of what you really make. You might want to check out the video on the channel where I went over, or the title is, we qualify you on the gross, but you live on the net. Like she's saying, you have to know what your numbers are. And you can't assign that task to someone else because they in business to make money. Secondly, when I first got into this business, my very first manager told me this. He said, Robert, if they pay, they stay. If they don't, they won't. It's just that simple. They don't care. And a lot of us, and a lot of these videos that I'm seeing, you're looking to blame someone else. So here's the deal. You can go out and get a ton of information, but you still need guidance with that information. You need an expert with expertise to explain to you how to utilize that information. I consider myself one of those experts, humbly and respectfully. If you're ready to get onto the property ladder and you want to do so the proper way, you owe it to yourself to find a lender that you know, like, and trust. If you feel that's me, as I said in the beginning of the video, go into the description or the top pinned comment, get on the calendar, and let's have a free 15-minute consultation. The first 15 minutes is free. And let's see if we're a fit. If we are, you will not be disappointed because we're going to do all the things that we need to do that are necessary for you not to only buy right, but for you to be able to live in peace while you're in the home, but more importantly, for you to have an exit strategy when you get ready to leave. So my time is up, but I thank you for yours. As I always say, guys, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And oh yeah, watch this next video right here before you leave. Indeed, y'all be blessed.